Last week in Missouri, Republicans lowered the state minimum wage. Wow. So I don't think I've ever seen this before. This might be a first in the country. But what happened is in 2015, St. Louis passed a minimum wage increase that would have mandated workers are paid $9 an hour that year, $10 an hour the year after, and then $11 by next year. But it passed on the same day as what's called a preemption law. So the preemption law is where they say, we are going to ban you from ever increasing the minimum wage. So there was that conflict of minimum wage increase, it passes the same day that the preemption law takes effect. So there's like a legal issue there. And then it went to the courts because businesses sued, saying that the increase in the minimum wage is illegal. A judge ruled against them and ruled for the minimum wage increase. But then Republicans in the state Senate, soon as that happened, they pushed through a bill that blocks the St. Louis minimum wage increase. So people are getting, their wage was increased to $9 an hour, and then now it's getting cut right back to $7.70. How sick of a person and how corrupt do you have to be to take away money, people who already aren't making a living wage, to take even more money away from them? These people work full-time. They don't make enough money to survive. And the Republicans said, you should make even less. They quote people in the article. They're like, I can't pay my water bill this month. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea what I'm going to do. This is what the Republicans are getting you. Shouldn't that be like just a duh thing? Like, you work full-time, make enough money to survive. Like, that's what a living wage is. Shouldn't that just be, obviously? And by the way, what happens when you have workers making less than a living wage? You know who makes up the difference? You. So middle-class taxpayers have to fund programs, government programs that help people who make less than minimum wage. So in other words, instead of big business and corporations paying people enough to survive, they get to pay them less than they can survive on and take that money and put it towards corporate profits, and then the taxpayers have to swoop in and help those people. They've rigged the system in favor of billionaires and the 1% and executives and the rich. This is what's happening. The corporations rule everything. And it's so bad that Republicans are even... Who does that, man? Again, I've never heard of this before. We're going to give you a pay cut and you're on minimum wage. That's immoral, that's unethical, that's savage, that's barbaric, and it's totally unconscionable. So we need, look, you got to elect Justice Democrats, because we got to get a living wage in place. We have to. And I feel like Justice Democrats are the ones who are going to fight the hardest for it and stop at nothing until we get it. Take no prisoners in that fight, man, because that one's a no-brainer, and it's crazy that in 2017 we still don't have a living wage.